good afternoon. Welcome one more time to the Méndez University series of webinars, presented once a month and presenting every month different topics related with content that you need to learn to equip yourself, to educate yourself, to grow your business from the starting point to the expansion, which present several ideas on how you can improve in different aspects of your life. But also, if you have business, the different presentations that we have, thanks to Méndez University, are going to also help you to improve the way you're managing your company. And today, as always, is not an exception. We have a great speaker, great presenter, is a representative faculty member and professor of Méndez. I'm going to tell you more about Professor Vanessa Gabauer. She is a professional in administration and education. She has studies in project management, marketing, accounting, continuous process improvement, and international business. Additionally, she holds a degree in administration, elementary education, a master's degree in management and strategic leadership. She's a John Maxwell certified coach, training and speaker in leadership, with experience in diverse industries from manufacturing, trading, health, energy. She currently works at Disney. Wow, that's amazing. Her role in the global purchasing operations team as a manager responsible for the product and merchandise, global labeling program for stores and retail for park and cruise lines. Wow, she needs to tell us more about that. She also teaches as an adjunct faculty at Méndez University in the Department Administration Division on Metro Orlando campus. So welcome, Vanessa. With this bio, I already got lost with all the expertise and experience that you have between marketing and management. So welcome again, and it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much. This is a real pleasure to be here with you, sharing a little bit of what I consider is the peak of my knowledge in terms of the recent degree that I got as a PhD in cultural studies. And from the educational side to the personal side and professional experience, I can tell you that this is a really great tool that will allow you to have the new perspective. So today is going to be an interesting session, and I am so excited to be here that let me know when I can start.
And even the title is so different, right? So we are eager to learn more about this presentation. The screen is all yours, and I'm going to be here taking notes and listening all you have to say. Go ahead, Carol.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. So call me Lola. It doesn't matter the title. At the end, we're humans, and as humans, it's easier to be called by the name Lola. So that's how much of the people know me. So here we go. Connection and analysis of representation, ontological and longitudinal. We are what we consume with our senses. So you can have a little bit of a peek and a sneak peek of what we're going to be talking about, because it seems like complex, but it's not that complex. But we are going to go from theories that are from the 1400s till today. And we are going to deep dive into this tool that will allow us to have a better view and understanding of how we communicate and what we do to present ourselves in the world. So here we go. Today's agenda is relatively simply. We're going to be introducing the context of concepts of representation, speech, discourse, and power. And we will learn more details. And we are going to be talking about the tool that was developed that is called a Carol framework. Connection and analysis of representation, ontological and longitudinal. I don't dig dive in what it was when it comes to ontological and longitudinal, but we're going to talk about it in terms of research and what is the scope of those two particular words. And then we're going to have the practical implications and uses, which is going to be part of the discussion that we are going to be having later on. So, representation or representation. When we think about the mental processes and cultural expressions that we daily use to connect items, images, processes with words? Or how do we know that traffic light, when it's red, we need to stop? Or how do we know that Beyonce is such a great artist? Or Taylor Swift is a great singer across the world? How do we know that those golden arches that are equals to what? McDonald's. How do we know all of that? Basically, it's because we create a representation. We're surrounded by that. And in general, the ontological part, which is the existence and this inner world, is expressed in a way that between you, I, the person that is going to be hearing this or seeing this, and the person that is reading a book or watching TV is able to understand what is going on based on that particular process of representation. But I write it and then dash presentation because it's a repeated process. It won't come because of it happens out of nowhere. Like suddenly we said, like, when you see something like this, you say, oh, that's a book. It is the fact that you might see it once and then you see it again and you see it again and you see it again, that eventually in your mind, you're going to go through the process of recognizing that when you see something like this, which is pages attached to a cover with glue and has content on it, on those pages, is a book. And then we need to understand the why, for what, and what is the object of the exercise of representing. As I was mentioning, the important part is that we're going to create common frameworks that will allow us to have not only better understanding, communication, but at the same time create this nexus between ones and others. Okay, I'm going to be feel more connected to you if we have the same language, we have the same age, we have the same interest, right? So that is part of the why and the for what and the what. This exercise is so important. Basically, is to create those connections, right? Those connections are going to have implications. By inciting the gaze, meaning the look, and emphasizing the perception on a way that is, I can see myself, but I can, at the same time, I can see you, right? We are connected in this space where for me, you are the other, but for you, I am the other. And sometimes this is good because it gives you a sense of individuality, but at the same time, if we are, for instance, professionals and we're educators, we are in a body that we are unique in our individualities, but at the same time, we can be considered as a common group because we have those traits that are equal in each one of us. So the important part is that also we need to perform this critical analysis of the speech. It's the way that we communicate and the discourse, what we are always repeating to one another on a subject, because this affects all humanity. So it is complex, but it's relatively simple. We need to find what is common between all of us so we can have easier, faster, and better relations, communications, and processes that allow us to evolve as humans and at the same time as people, professionals or individuals. How do you feel about it? Maria Rene, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I was listening. I think it's, like you said, very complex. We really need to understand better about the meaning of representation and actually how we can implement this in the daily life, in the daily work, and how we can understand also, different groups in the society. So I agree with you in everything you're saying so far. I'm trying to understand. Well,
yeah. So yes, it is funny because in cultural studies, this is one of the main key concepts, representation, because sometimes you feel, oh, but this is not me. Oh no, no, like Latin, no, but I am not like that. So you create this space where you are common to everybody. Like, yes, we are the minority, we're this. And at the same time, you want to differentiate yourself. So representation is precisely that space. Do your government actually embodies what are your values? Do you actually look like your family? Is your group or the companies where you're working reflecting what you think is the best are the best practices in terms of ethical concepts? You know, it goes in so many ways because it is related to the human, and that is the ontological part, is who you are, is internal and core values. And to say that something represents you, or you are representing something, like when you decided, I will work for this company, I will provide services to these particular customers, you have to evaluate, like, are they representing you? Are you representing them? How is this connection going to be important? And if my family comes from a background where everybody is, for instance, lawyers and educators and engineers, and I decided to be an artist, how can I still feel that I am part of my family if I am not following them? So it's the importance of this topic, because it's not necessarily related to a particular field of sociology, economical, political, legal. It encompasses everything that we do as humans. At the end, as I said at the very beginning, we are what we consume. So if you consider yourself a product that it's performing an activity, how this works for you. Okay? So the formal definition is a system of representation. A system of representation consists in not individual concepts, but different ways organizing, clustering, arranging, and classifying concepts, and to establishing complex relationship between them. And you are like, oh my goodness, like, what is this lady talking about? Well, the father of representation is Mr. Stuart Hall, and the Bible of this particular field is this book that is called Cultural Representation and Significant Practices. At the end, as I am telling you in simple words, it's not concepts, but it's a way to organize and cluster and arrange and classify what you believe, what you think, how you act, and how you perform, and who you are, to connect those complex relationships and present yourself to the world. Okay? So far, so good?
Go ahead. I'm listening here and I was moving my head. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to be understanding how we create meaning, right? Because now I'm telling you the importance of representation, and I am telling you that is the way that you need to embody your belief and your actions and to your core, make it possible to adapt and connect with others, right? But we have to create meaning, and people is like, I need to find meaning in my life, I need to find meaningful representations, meaningful relationships, like finding meaning, like we came without it. But at the core of our existence, we have value. All of us have value, and we are worthy, we are different, but it's still we are the same. And this is when the important part comes. It involves the development of meaning through interpretation that comes when an image, a text, or a discourse. And you are always exposed to them throughout your life. So you have an agent, which is a person or a message, a TV ad, a commercial ad, Instagram, Twitter, whatever platform, social media you have, right? That it's telling you, according to them, a truth. And then in this case, you are the other, right? That is looking at that concept, and you're looking at that message, and you are thinking, it's important. causes and it produces a sensation or a reaction in you. Okay? So it's important to always understand that you are action reaction to what is presented to you all the time. And depending on what is resonating with you, you are going to have meaning, you're going to find value, and then you're going to be starting assuming it. And then in time and with experience and with intent or not, you are going to become the agent that is going to say to somebody else, for instance, fashion, hey, autumn season, we all need to wear, I don't know, plaid. And then, okay, somebody said it on the internet, I go and I dress it, and then like somebody sees me and they say, like, oh yeah, we have to do it. And then we start reproducing this. And that is how meaning is created. So the most amount of people that is using the same meaning or using the same message as a truth, we are reproducing and producing content and meaning. So in other words, industries as fashion, industries as medicine, industries, the medical industry, as entertainment industry, and even for administrators and manufacturing companies, like we have to follow these trends. This is the ultimate new quality assurance techniques. And we go as administrators, okay, everybody's going to do Six Sigma. But years before were lean manufacturing, and years prior to that was like use process improvement. So at this point in time, you see we follow and we add meaning, and we continue using and reproducing in completely different fields the same concept, where somebody decided to say something, it is presented as a truth, we accept it, and then we as the other start producing meaning out of that, and then we become the agent and we reproduce that, and and then somebody else comes and sees us as the agent and then assuming, and this is how these particular trends across the time continues and continues. And you can think about that in terms of what I just told you in social economics, politics, legal, and many other aspects. But think about the implications in terms of, for instance, you as a person. What are those truths that you see and that you believe that are real, and then you need to act upon them because are what is considered the truth? For instance, in the university, we believe that the center of the educational process is the student. And we dedicate our time and efforts to prepare ourselves and making it easier for them to go through the achievement of their own goals in academics. And because we believe in that, and it all started with one person, Anna G. Méndez. So she would be like the agent, the truth is going to be the education, the student is the center of the education process. And then across time, almost 100 years later, we are still following that particular motto because we believe that to be true. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, cool. So I continue. Then another complex concept, semiotics. It's a way of putting words into what we already know, at least intuitively, but at the same time is how we interpret verbal and non-verbal signs. And I understand that I am going in deeper kind of concepts, but trust me, it's going to make sense. The nonverbal side is important because sometimes these signs are kind of waiting to be read. In other words, when we are doing, we're sending clues and we're not saying directly the ideas that we want to express, we kind of use this particular field, what is called semiotics, okay? And then the signs, it's important to describe them because it's a combination of what is called signifier and signified. And I will tell you, there's a graphic coming up, so don't worry. Trust me, the process is there. And It implies idealism regardless of the intentions of who practice it. In other words, when it comes to a sign, it's arbitrary and it's going to be there, and like whatever you see can be interpreted and have a physical or a physical way to be presented, but at the same time, it will have a different meaning for you, okay? It can be verbal or non-verbal, and it's always used to reinforce dominant signs in culture. In other words, the more that you see something, the more that it's embedded into you to provide them meaning. Like and this is when advertisement, for instance, comes to be like an amazing field of this particular science, because it's a science. At the end, if you see the Golden Arch, you immediately think about McDonald's. If you see the castle, you immediately think about what? Disney, magical. If you think about the ears, immediately Mickey Mouse. So it's one of the most iconic signs in the whole world. And it's fascinating to see because it came to that, like just a little cartoon, and has all this impact and meaning to it, like magical and everything, right? So let's go a little bit further down the rabbit hole on these concepts, and then we're going to go to the graphic, I promise you.
Perfect.
You can have icons where similarities are represented by objects and mean that point-to-point imitation. In other words, like you see something and you have a representation that is exactly like that. That is an icon. When you have an index, you have to have an experience. The connector marks is the union between events. It has to happen. It is not something that it's given by itself. But when it comes to a symbol, the association of the word and the mental level happens because you establish the connection between the object and what it represents. So after all of that I gave you, I want to give you a beautiful example that is super simple. And here we go. If we have the icon as imitation, the index as experience, and the symbol as association, let's work towards identifying which one is one. If we're thinking about a female and a male, right? And we think about imitation, what does look like icons? Can you put in every single bathroom door a picture of a female or of a male? Are they going to feel identified as that? If you place, for instance, a white female in a Hispanic community, probably yes, they are going to see it, probably not. So universally speaking, which is the icons more common that we have for male and female? These dotted figures that are like black with the head and the dress and the pants. That is what it implies. This is a male and this is a female. And those are icons. Okay?
And this is definitely important because you see now that it's not just these two symbols. Now you can see three, right? So this is definitely something important.
Exactly. So welcome to what is going to go as Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion 101. Yes, it's limited, it's classical, it's practical, it's accurate, it's representing everybody. That is the key. And I really love, Maria Rene, that you got it immediately. Yes, but there are more. So when it comes to male and female, and that is what I wanted to point out, that we're talking about like just these two, male and female. Then you get the other figure, like the woman, and you have the male. And it's funny about this is that, again, the female is presented with a skirt and the male is presented with a suit, okay? So both are elegant, both look like they are equal, more or less, in sense of height, but the female is using high heels, the man is using the tie. And it's experience, again, it's a female experience to wear the skirts, it's a female experience to wear the high heels, it's a male experience to wear the ties, it's a male experience to use the pants and like even the poses. Does that mean that those are the only ways that we can experience femininity and masculinity? Probably no, because I am a female and I still identify myself as one, and I still identify myself with clothes that are just clothes. So I can wear a tie, I can wear pants, I can wear jeans, I can wear skirts, I can wear flats, I can wear everything, and that won't deny my experience as a human that identifies herself as a female. You know what I mean? So why are we providing and giving to colors, to clothing, to language, to poses, to makeup and other marks, female or masculine interpretations? At the end, it's a matter of experience, okay? And finally, when it comes to the symbols, you know these two classical ones, female with the cross down and male with the arrow pointing up. Does that make any sense now? It's getting better?
Yeah, exactly.
So this is part of the reason why I wanted to take this topic, because again, we continue because of the speed and the need of being in a hurry all the time to do this kind of exercises. Simple, male, female. But we also have disabled people. We also have LGBTQI plus communities. We also have people that is white and those dolls are like, or those icons are black. We also have people that is a different color of skin. Why they don't have hair? And if I got hair, like what hair are you gonna put? So there is some point where we have to draw that line between what is practical and necessary and classical or traditional, and where we need to push the boundaries and start thinking about, hey, we can do better, we can do more. This can be challenged. This is important to talk about. We are not criticizing, demonizing, or doing any other than open the spectrum for everybody to start understanding that this is a little bit more complex than what we were taught or that we were taught when we were kids. Okay? Yes? I will continue.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. So we're going to go to 2 more slides and then another graphic that is going to be like making you now see it. The signifier is the physical form of the sign that we perceive through our senses. It can be an image, for instance. While the signified or the meaning is the association with that sign. This system of cognitive signs is a mythical sign, and because again, when you have these images and meanings and you bond it together and then you add another meaning to that, then you create a mythology, and that is a more complex way of presenting discourse and speech. And it's not part of what we're talking or we're going to be talking right now, but it's kind of what it comes to this. It is like a chain, and it's continued to be a chain. Just as I told you that we have an agent and the truth, we have this image that we associate, and we provide them like meaning, and we provide them with a description, and that immediately becomes an association that goes to your mind. And then it's when you start creating stereotypes, which is faster way to classify people, for instance, or actions or situations, because your brain is always so polluted and like so intensively working, trying to figure it out, this world. And we only have 2 pair of eyes, 2 ears, like one nose, one set of skin. It's almost impossible to be aware of everything that is happening every single time. But for sure, you're going to pay more attention, and you're going to be more prone to relate your experience with what you are seeing or are considering that it's important to you because of the truth that aging provides to you. And then here we go. This is the easiest way to present it. Semiotics 101. If it doesn't matter if I call it a dog, a chain, a dog, a perro, it doesn't matter. Like, that is arbitrary. Like, people use different languages, so it doesn't matter. The referent is going to be an image. In this case, we have a beautiful dog. The signifier is that it's an animal, has 4 legs, fur, and barks, right? Like, describe me a dog. What else can you add to that?
Oh, it barks. I don't know.
Yeah,
Makes
exactly. Like
it
sniff, it smells. It can be positive or negative, right? Like your description to the animal can be as relatable to you as you can do it, and it's as complex as it is, because we are doing this as a conversation. But if you were to have a dog, you would say like, oh my god, my dog is like super tall, or it's super big, it's super furry, or it's like without hair, and you're going to
Mhm.
give me more details, because again, it has a different signifier. The signifier is so close to you, and if you got multiple dogs, it's going to be like, oh, but yeah, and they are like playful and many other stuff. The important part here is that regardless of what picture you put inside of that, you're going to have a signified that is going to be attached to that. It is a friend, it's loyal, it's adorable, it's faithful, and so on and so on and so on. And this particular exercise that I am showing you is from an academic and kind of like neutral side. But think for a second that you are a kid and a dog bark you, and a dog scares you, or a dog bite you. Would you think that this would be the same for that person?
No, the meaning, probably the experience is going to be different.
Exactly. So this is when these kind of things are important. So we continue to providing and reinforcing the idea of we have the truth, and this is what it is, because I have it, because I feel it, because I experience. But we stop thinking about the other and the context of the other. And when I start assuming that everybody likes dogs, and I go to every single mall with my service dog, and there's a person that has a bad experience and they start having a critical time with that, we have to be respectful of them too. I have as much right to keep my dog and carry my dog and like train my dog and take it everywhere. But that person also is paying for the services or products on that store, and they have also the ability and the right to request that if the dog is not actually doing a purpose, it should be removed. So now you start seeing how representation goes to that ground of, it's not about being right or having the right or about having the ability to do it. It's also about consideration for others. And we have to, when we are creating a business, when we are creating an environment, when we are serving a population, we need to consider those elements as well. And that is part of the diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. And this is part of the reason why I would like to propose my framework. Another example of this. So you can see, this is a picture, right, of like this beautiful dog, but it also can be what? A cartoon.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it makes the perfect sense. And I can give you like a big dog, or this is a friendly one, but it can be like the Tom and Jerry dog, or it can be any dog you think, Bolt from Disney, any dog. It doesn't matter. It's what you think it is. You are going to have the signifier, which is the way that you're going to be able to describe it. And then you have the signified, which is the way that you are going to feel, interpret, and understand that image, what that image is for you. Okay? Questions? Like, are you
No,
like,
I mean, everything is super clear. Like, I haven't thought about this, but what you said is so important. And instead of the word, sometimes it's just better to use the image, a symbol, because that can represent a lot of things. And it doesn't matter the language or the expression. But if you see the figure, you're definitely going to understand what is the idea about.
yeah, and no, and furthermore, when we start thinking about these kind of topics, and we start thinking about, for instance, advertisement, and if we are going to talk about dogs in Florida, you're going to talk about pit bulls and those kind of dogs. And if you go to California, you might start thinking about like schnauzer and a different smaller dogs, or like different breed of dogs. And then if you go to Texas, it's going to be a different one. But if you go to Puerto Rico, or you go to Venezuela, or you go to Spain, or if you go to England, it's going to be a completely different image. And yet every single dog, universally classified as the same, is a mammal that has 4 legs, that has fur, that barks, and has this particular feature in their nose and ears and eyes and the tail. What is
Absolutely.
going to be the signified? You were saying?
No, I'm saying, yeah, you're right. Go ahead.
No. I would like to have your feedback.
Yeah, I mean, definitely when you represent the meaning of what you want to say, whatever is the industry you are, but the images are definitely symbols, images, signs that represent a global, basically, vocabulary, because you don't need to have, it doesn't matter the culture, the language, the color, as long as you represent an image can they really mean a lot. So I agree with you. And this part, if you think about it, it's not just for people that was trying to understand the psychology or the how the human thinks, but it's really if you think about this presentation, you can apply and implement these elements for any type of business, anything that you want to do, because the way you're gonna adapt and the one that you're gonna reach to potential customers is the way you're gonna also do your marketing, and for that you need to understand these elements. So I agree with you. Go ahead.
So I am happy that you're making the connection, because I know sometimes it's hard when you say like, oh, but I am a specialist in like representation, and they are like, what is that? So it applies to everything, indeed, and the same when you're trying to think about like religious values, or like the Holy Cross is the reference for, or the Bible might be the reference for others, and it's going to happen across the history, and nations are going to have the same. When I was born in Venezuela, and for us it's like the cuatro, like the musical instrument, but it also can be some particular food or music. So those are going to be your symbols, like the flower, like the tree, like the national tree, like the national animal, and all that stuff. Those are colors and flavors that connects you to your roots. This is who you are. Does that actually represent you? I don't think that a tree represent me, but at the same time, and every time that I think about a yellow leaf, wonderful tree, it's an Araguaney, and for me, it's kind of like, oh my goodness, that is my country 101, and it creates a sense of nostalgia, and that is also kind of advertisement, but at the same time it's a way for me to be connected in a way, and keep a little bit of that root where I came from with me. Okay, so
Okay, great.
awesome. Let's do now let's see how this goes across the spectrum when it comes to what it calls to interpretative reproduction. William Corsario is a psychologist that got this book, that wrote this book, the Sociology of Childhood, and I was pretty interested in seeing how we use this. The important part to consider when it comes to representation is that these systems are not created out of nowhere. It all started in your family as the center and the origin of yourself. You started there. Regardless if your family abandoned you, regardless if you're adopted, it doesn't matter. It all started in the point where you were born, okay? It doesn't matter how you were born, what sex identified you, what is the history of your family, what is the country where you were born, the color of your skin, it doesn't matter. It started in that point, okay? So it starts to creating an spiral, right? That goes through your childhood, your pre-adolescent, when you're an adolescent, when you are an adult, right? And you are going through these circles or fields that are interconnected in terms of occupation, political, religious, cultural, economical, community, and family, and educational fields. Regardless if you study or not, if you completed your classes or not, if you went to a church or not, that is part of this beautiful model. Why? Because we have to understand that it's unique to everybody, but at the same time applies to everybody on the same spectrum. For instance, in my house, we are four siblings. And if you ask each one of us the same event, we went through the same event, all of us, and four different people has four different point of views of what happened. And we were born and raised from the same mother and father. We were born and raised in the same city, the same hospital, different times, different contexts, historically and influenced by economic events and many other items. Because, for instance, those kind of things are going to be shaping what you think and what you believe. So this network of cyclical processes frame in a cultural time and a space, right? In my case, it's going to be my childhood, pre-adolescence, and part of my adult life. I live it in my country, and then I move to Puerto Rico, and then I move to Florida. But that it continues to grow my spectrum of what is going to be my cultural, religious, political, occupational, because again, it continued to expand, but it all started there. So if you're a person that is believe, for instance, and you were born and you were raised on a Catholic family, when you come to a different country, and let's say like for whatever reason you need to move to a Muslim country, then you are going to have a clash of this this change. But this is not what I practice. But at the same time, when you consider topics as difficult as immigration, the people that is coming towards the country that is receiving them, they're also bringing that particular baggage of all these fields and experiences that make them who they are. So if we're welcoming them, are we allowing them to express themselves and what they know is the truth for themselves? Or are we restricting those truths because we consider those a threat? And those are the kind of things where this is extremely, extremely important. Because I can tell you from that particular position when it comes to political terms and immigration, but at the same time, I can tell you when it comes to creating a group in your company. Let's say that you need to create a task force to develop a campaign to increase the sales across the country in the next 6 years. Do you really feel that you can have everybody on the same background, ethnicity, religion, religious background, and cultural backgrounds? Are they going to be able to match or reach further across the whole spectrum of the market, every single potential customer?
Absolutely not.
You need that particular representation. And when we're hiring somebody, more than the fact that we need to ask them, can you tell me like if you're black and white, or like what is your ethnicity, what is your color, your country of origin, if you got documents or not? We also need to start considering these kind of things during the interviews so we can understand if they are going to be a good match to the rest of the team. But at the same time, we need to challenge ourselves and understand that it's not what we know that is familiar and known to us what is good. It's just if your experience was good, perfect, good for you. But somebody else's experience were also good, and they can help you to improve yourself and bring different now experiences and talents to your organization just by the fact that you are expanding your cycle, your circle like of action. So that is the importance of interpretative reproduction. It's not about who you are, because what you experience throughout your life. It's also about how you expand this network to present yourself and understand that representation is also temporal, and you can modify what are those truths to yourself. Yes?
Yep, it makes sense.
Okay, perfect. So let's continue here. Communication, it's important. We're talking about speech, basically. It's the art of providing information and making sure that the other person, the recipient, is understanding and is able to generate or create a thought and then a message that you can interpret at the same time to continue the cycle. Okay? It's extremely important. And why I say this is because we need to start thinking that when we are speaking and we are sharing our communications with others, we have to be sensitive about those realities that we talk about, what their truths are, what the cultural backgrounds are, what their levels are, what their ages are, so we can be more considerate and representing the best of the values that we have and that we want to transmit, okay? It's always for the betterment, okay? When it comes to discourse, it's a speech that is repeated over and over and over and over again. Is that you interchange ideas, but as I show here in the graphic, not all the time those ideas are going to be, in full carried by the listener. Sometimes they're going to take just fractions of it. And the important part is going to be like, if you continue repeating over and over and over that truth, as I said, and you present them in different ways, and then now you have different signs, and then you have more meanings and more descriptions to add to that message, it's more possible that your discourse is going to be more compelling, it's going to be more attractive, and it's going to be more resonant. And instead of just little pieces of it, it's going to be a large chunk, if not all of that the people is taking with them. Okay? You see it?
Yep.
Okay. And finally, power. In physics, work is done. In the same field, energy is transferred. For social science is influence, and for political science is control. Why power is so important for us? Because again, more than anything, it's a pretty physics concept. It's energy, transference of energy. So if I am representing this force of negativity, coercivity, anger, being mean, and values that are in detriment of humanity, we're doing wrong. And it doesn't matter if everybody is doing it wrong, wrong is wrong. And it doesn't matter if nobody is doing good. What is good is good. It's always going to be good. So we have to start now thinking about how we align ourselves in this, what I consider that is the truth. What do I say? How many times I say it to myself and to others? How many times I live and I represent that idea and that concept? And how I am, what energy I am bringing to that in terms of providing it to others. As a business, it's your brand. As if you're in politics, that is going to be your message, and like what is going to be the way that people is going to vote or not for you. If you talk about environmental causes, for instance, it's like this is just one planet. It doesn't matter. It's just one planet. So if you recycle or not, if you continue using green energy or not, if you decided to be like, hi, who cares? It's just one plastic bottle more. Hi, who cares? It's just like fast fashion. Oh, who cares? Like it's just one life. It's just like we can throw that away in the river and like nobody will care. Like it's just a bottle. It's the beach. Or like we continue smoking and like who cares? I'm gonna continue using fuels. It's just one planet. You have the power to change everything. Just you, one person. And it doesn't matter how big the organization is. It doesn't matter how hard the country or conditions might be, how complex your family or your situation is, still you have the power, because at the end, whatever you see that you consider is the truth, that you do it and repeat it and present it to others, and you continue saying about it, making that a speech, became your energy and your superpower. See?
I love it. Yep.
It's super connected, right? Now the framework. Because like you see, like this is part of the beauty of this particular conversation. The framework that I created to try to understand this is you have two axes, and that is what is longitudinal. You have a personal line, and then you have a social line, right? And then we, as humans, can be presented in this particular and unique 4 circles that embodies, like in the vertical axis, we're going to see the family and the body. Okay? You don't come from, you were born, regardless if you're even in vitro, you come from a mother and a father. So you are part of, like, you're the product of a family. So there you are, no matter what. And again, see, this is the beauty. Like, we are not questioning, like, how you were born or how you were created, right? Like, and in what environment, and if you are the product of, like, long-lasting love, or like you're the whatever situation lead your parents to take the decisions to, let's get together and have a kid. You are here. You are important. You matter. You're worthy. I like it. I love it. You are amazing as a human. So let's do that. You are part of a family, regardless if it's composed by yourself and foster people. It's a family still. And even if you're alone by yourself, it's still a family. You are a unit that has value. But you also are encompasses, as a personal level, you encompass a body. That is the only body that you have. Like, I love science fiction and everything. At this point in time, we cannot transfer our mind to a different body. We can enhance our body with surgery. We can change the feature that we have, but it's still, we were born one day and we're going to be gone another day.
Absolutely.
So how to live the best of our life, it's like taking care of the only vessel that you have, which is your body. Okay. Then you have on the social axis, because, like, you also have to understand that you are not alone. Like, that is almost impossible, especially now with even in digital platforms, you are not alone, because you are interacting with somebody else, not in presence, but you're interacting. So you have a performative role, or a performative field that you have, and then you have a profession, because at the end, even if you're a student, that is a profession. Even if you're an apprentice, that is a profession. Even if you're retired, you exercise in some point a profession. So it doesn't matter. You see, age is not part of what we're talking about. We're not talking about anything else. You can add those elements as your signifiers, right? But the important part is here is, like, you got your family and your body, your performative actions, and then your profession. When you intersect both your family and your profession, it gives you a stratum, your economic field. Why? Because you come from a place that it's going to be that center that give you that space of safety net, your childhood protection, and it's going to give you your adolescence transition to a world of where you are going to be productive. Regardless if you're a student or not, your family is going to move you and impulse you to continue to study or to start working since a very young age. And that is part of the role that the family does. They are the most influence that we have there. Like, they're going to either take you to one place or the other, study or work. But it's going to be like your family that is going to be, like, proposing that to you and giving you the orientation. As I told you, everybody in my family are lawyers. Well, I want to be an artist.
Wow.
Problematic, but it's still, like, what is the first thing that they tell you? You're going to be dying, like, you're going to be poor all your life. See? That is why it's an economical matter here in some point. But when it comes to the profession and your body, you are interacting in a way when you form your groups. And there is social interactions, because, again, it's you, the person that decided, like, okay, let me put myself in this field that is environmental because I love it. Let me put myself in this field of entertainment because I like the magical, the princesses, the horror films, everything that encompasses that particular industry. I want to be part of that. I love science, so I want to work in the medical field. I want to improve the person. And what is exhausted, that is studying till 3 a.m. in the morning and, like, exposing your eyes, and, like, we always end up using glasses because the amount of hours that we have. The only vessel that you have, your body, and you interact with who? With the people that is around you, that is going through the same conditions as you are. So those are more, you are more time in your office than what or your school than what you are with your family. So that is when the balance comes to a part that is important. Fine. Then we have the status when it comes to the body and the performance, the stereotype, the way we speak, the way we dress, the way we do makeup, clothing, the actions that we do, if we are our values speak for ourselves. It's like that person is all the time, and again, stereotypes are not bad in a sense, but they make us, they allow us to have quick decisions that in time might be bad because comes with a price tag. We are doing a quick judgment and we are not allowing to the person to present themselves in a different light. So, oh, that is a sport person. Oh, that is just an emo. Oh, that is just a person that is not worthy. Oh, I don't talk to people with tattoos. I don't talk to people that don't have like longer hair. If you don't look feminine, you are not a girl to me. If you are not, like we are always classifying this, and that is when it's important, and it gives you like a status in a sense of, especially now with social media and everything, like the amount of followers that you have. I'm sorry, like it's not about how many people is following you. It's more about like who at this point in time you are intended to become to or be the person that you want to follow.
Yeah.
Like be that person. If you really be that person, like take care, do your exercises, do your correct finances, do your studies, do whatever you think is the best version of that ideal that you have, so you can beat those stereotypes and at the same time challenge them. And I love that these new spaces where we have 4 generations working, Gen Z, millennials, and are coming to the tables like with a more relaxed and more human posture than what we used to have in the 90s and everything, where you have to have a Rolex and you have to have like a particular brand clothes and everything to show professionalism, and you have to wear the suit and it's and like all these ties that were uncomfortable to wear, but were symbols of status. So we're changing and challenging that. And finally, when it comes to the performance in your family, it tells you the role and the character that you're gonna have. This is my little baby. This is the oldest one. In cultures like Asian cultures, the male are preferable to the girls, and then like if you are the older, and if you're a male, then you have the responsibility to take care of the rest of your family. Therefore, you're going to be the one inheriting everything, and those are the kind of cultural clashes that we need to understand, and the role that you have in your family. At the end, you can be a mother, you can be a daughter, you can be a sister, you can be an aunt, you can be everything. But whatever role that you are performing, try to be the best, because again, it shows your character. All this connected is the same that we do like in a different field now. Let's talk super fast about, for instance, administration, and we are deciding how we are going to do our vacation for the rest of the year. Are we going to punish the just arrived employee? Like, because, well, he's the new or she's the new, they are like, they will have to do it. What about going to a meeting where you have a baby and we are over Zoom and the baby is like starting jumping on a mom? Are we going to feel upset about it? That is part of her family. But at the same time, you are you have to be respectful and put yourself in that position where you are respecting others. And then when it comes to your company and the organization that you work with, are you going to be a relaxed kind of company where people can be themselves and express themselves through clothing, makeup, and ornaments? Or are you going to be a super rigid company where everybody has to wear the same uniform and has to have the same body type and style? We know that it don't work as Victoria's Secret. It's like variety and diversity goes in different ways. And when it goes to performance, what are you going to be known for? Like the person that is always failing, screaming, the bad apple, the bad seed, the super egomaniac, narcissistic kind of person that knows everything and you are not humble enough to allow to learn from others. It comes with a completely different framework for that. At the same time, if you're evaluating content, you can use this framework to understand in what degree you are addressing your target audience in terms of what is going to be more important for them: family, body, profession, or performance. And then you're going to orient your campaign to make sure that whatever message, images, language, speech that you're using is going to be towards that particular sphere. So it still has balance when you include the other ones. You can give, or on the other hand, because what we see, you can totally check out. This is what I am looking here. This is not aligned with what I think, because they are not talking about family. They are not caring about the body. They are not giving me a very good impression in terms of professionalism, or they are performing in a way that is not matching my values. You see it, Maria Renee? Like, you
Yeah.
were thought about this.
No, not really.
Yes, like, welcome to my dissertation. This is the field that I was studying for 3 years, and I find that extremely fascinating, and I wanted to share this with you. So we are super short on time, so I'm gonna move forward towards the 4 pillars, right? In terms of your family, is like how develop a safe environment, like for them, or like for you as a member of this particular blood community, where you have to be related to others, and you have to provide them dedicated time and learn and evolve in this particular environment. Okay. And when it comes to your body, and I put the weights, right? Like, it's the only stuff that you have to carry. Then it's like that is your own weight. You're not being asked to do more. You have to care for your own pearls, your own skin, right? So what is good and healthy for you, even if
Well,
it's bad.
definitely the body is something that you need to take care, especially now that we are overwhelmed with activities. We want to make sure that our appearance and our body, but also our mental state is, in balance.
Yes, exactly. Your boundaries. You have to say, like, this is my physical space, your space, and it's important. Like you have to do it. It doesn't matter the commitment of the company, if like 40 hours or 40 hours, and we have special projects, then you take the time later on. And leaders and managers and supervisors should be able to understand that the body needs to rest. It's scientifically proven and demonstrated. We cannot extenuate people. It's going to have a toll on them, and goes both ways. The leaders should know this, and you as a person should also reinforce the idea that you need to have proper resting, and you have to have those kind of actions that would lead you to have a good longevity and avoid having long-term illness and sickness because of the consequence of your actions and the lack of respect to your own body. Okay. When it comes to the profession, we need to think about growth, success, stability, compensation, and many other factors that are going to be allowing you to flourish in whatever field is your preference. And at this point in time, I like to point it out. It doesn't matter if you're the person that is taking care of the garbage. Imagine for a second that we don't have people that take care of the garbage. It's going to be a chaos. So they are as important as the person that is taking care of making sure that the traffic lights are working, so all of us can make it on time. The person that is repairing your vehicle, and at the same time, those that are in extremely important fields as developing artificial intelligence and helping those algorithms to make our daily tasks more easily, and at the same time, those who are teaching others and making them the better version of themselves, and the same of those that are dedicating time to serve in the military service and providing safety and security for everybody. So at the end, all lives matters. All life matters. So no profession matters. We need them. Okay. So you have to be the best out of what you're learning, and try to continue developing new skills and abilities to be the best version of yourself also in that particular sphere. And finally, when it comes to performance, then you have to use your perception, your values, your stereotypes, and challenge them. Like, do I really need to work with a person that is older than me, younger than me? Do I feel threat? Like, let's analyze what is going on in terms of why you feel about that, and then do I really need to have all these piercings and all this the hair in that shape, or do I really need this? Is this the way that I am expressing myself? How I am affecting others by imposing my own personal views? Till what degree I can negotiate that and be understanding and respectful for others and how they feel when they see me, or when I act in that way. Okay? As actions, it's adjective. It's like, how do you treat yourself and how you treat others? Yes? And
Yeah,
finally,
mhm.
the uses is in administration, arts, team performance, creation, assessment, personal development, balance, your consumption, and many other fields. Like this particular framework, the Carol framework, is a very useful tool that allow you to evaluate and do assessment in terms of ontological, because again, it's related to the human and their values, and longitudinal because it has two different axes where you're going to be able to see the interpretation of each one of the meanings that you are going to be giving to your actions in this particular field of education that I developed for you and the wonderful people that wanted to use it. Okay.
Awesome.
At the end, we are what we consume with our senses. Let's be wise. That's the end
That
of
was
it.
a very nice message.
Yes. So any questions?
Well, definitely more than questions is like I was very impressed with the content, the way you presented. Sometimes we just think in general, or we don't think at all in details, like what can we do, what can we say, how we can present information without offending other groups, but at the same time, how we can include all the groups without excluding any group. And like you said, everything is also about family, the way you are raised, the way you think. And the idea is, in general, to create a message that is going to be welcome for everybody. So that's the overall goal. And in terms of company, what we want to do is productivity, how we can be productive, how we can be efficient, but at the same time being effective, implementing different tools to get to the not just employees, but also the consumers.
Yeah, and at the same time balance that out, because you can try to do that, and then you have so much resources and time, and that resources has a family, has only one body. They cannot multiply themselves. You cannot clone your best employee. You have to have variety of them, and then at the same time they're going to perform better or worse, or like depending on what point they are at in their lives. You cannot have 20 forever, like, and you cannot have 60 when you are like all the time. You also want to retire, and then at the same time, not everybody's going to have like a PhD, for instance, but like everybody has the ability and the capacity to learn and understand and apply these tools and
Exactly.
become a
But
better person.
this is through the first customers are your employees. So
Yes.
you need to treat them, in a way that they're gonna be happy. And if they are happy, definitely they're gonna enjoy a passion, and they're gonna perform much better in the company, in the responsibilities as employees. Carola, thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. You really work hard on, the what is this, a thesis that you have been working for 3 years?
Yeah, no, it was my dissertation, and it was a real challenge. It was like 5 years of my full studies as a PhD, and I just graduated in June, and it was a total honor, because again, it was on one particular person that I believe so much, which is Ana G. Méndez. She's a role model for me, and I really believe in what she did and how she did it, and this is the only way to be the best person and professional for your students, that are the ones that are going to get at the end the best benefit. And my family is extremely thrilled about this. They are tired about, like, seriously, more representation, but then again, it's like you have to conduct yourself and add those values and everything, and setting the bar and the examples. It's important. You have to love what you do, and then you have to be caring and taking care of your body, your performance. Make sure that you are a professional, regardless of you don't have of your title. Be a professional, have manners, be human, be empathetic, be unique, and care and listen really well. What are you listening all the time? What are you saying all the time? Because that is your speech, that is your score, your discourse, that's your superpower. Help
Absolutely.
others, serve others.
Thank you so much. Beautiful presentation, beautiful words. I can tell you that you have passion for this topic, and I congratulate you for having working on this for over 5 years, 3 years. It's not easy to win a PhD. Requires a lot of research, but also time that sometimes we don't have in these times, in this era where everything is a lot of activities that we have to perform. So thank you so much, Carola, for being also an adjunct faculty for Energy Méndez and representing the school in this particular topic. I hope to see you soon in the next presentation with all the things that you do working at Disney, working at Energy Méndez, and all the experience that you have in marketing and also management. I'm sure that you can also do other presentations in the future, inspiring us, empowering us, and educating us in business. Thank you so much, and see you next time.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure.